called Sati Contest. Anti-corruption studies must be part of curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. I'll give the mic to him.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It is glad my time to be present with you this afternoon to elaborate on the evergreen topic, anti-corruption should be included into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. I am participant number 1, Technical University, present with you this afternoon on this auspicious occasion. It is fitting that I acknowledge the contest chair, framers of this event, distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience, and members of the press. Anti-corruption studies must be included into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. And before elaborating, permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to state in advance that corruption is a global problem that affects societies, economies, and government. It undermines public trust and hinders development. Given its pervasive, detrimental, and pernicious effect, it should and must be addressed at its root causes. One effective approach is to incorporate anti-corruption studies into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions by equipping students with the knowledge about corruption, its consequences, and strategies to combat it. We can foster a culture of transparency. We can foster a culture of integrity and ethical decision making. Ladies and gentlemen present in this assembly, permit me to quote Chinio Achebe's book, Things Fall Apart. 1958, he said, and where are the young suckers that will grow when the old banana dies? I have no doubt in my mind, if the anti-corruption studies is included into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions, Leone will catapult into a completely different orbit. I have no doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind that going forward, if we want a society that is free and free from corruption, we should embrace the introduction of anti-corruption studies into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. You know, Professor Akinwande Babatunde Olúwọlé Sèdínkà, the Nigerian poet, novelist, and essayist, said, and I quote, that youth are the barometer which we can use to measure the development of our societies. And referencing him, it is crystal and clear that if we want a society that is free from corruption, we must from the onset introduce it into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. And that is why I am here to elaborate on it a lot more. You know, my presentation will be further expanded on three-legged stool. Number 1, Proceeding as I must proceed, it is important that fostering ethical values and principles is at the very heart of every development. When you listen to what Professor Patrick Otieno Lumumba, the Kenyan law God, said in the year 2017, he said corruption has killed more than all civil wars combined. So that is why it is important, ladies and gentlemen present in this assembly, to incorporate it into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. I have no doubt in my mind that that is the way going forward, and it can be done. It can be done because it is our responsibility to do it. It can be done because it is our responsibility to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, going forward, it is also important that if it is introduced, we will have a society where young men and women will know the root causes of corruption, its consequences, and strategies to combat it. That can be done in the secondary and higher educational institutions. We in the recent times have had individuals that have been recognized as corrupt in this nation. Typical example, you can check the public domain of the Anti-Corruption Commission. They haven't took office for 3 years, recognized that the former president, the former vice president of this country, the former president of this country, and his minister, Mikhail Mansari, were accused of corruption on the first day of April year 2020. Victor Ford is his name. I am not the first to say it because it is in the public domain. And we are called for questioning. You can cross-check that. As I proceed, ladies and gentlemen present in this assembly, if you doubt the introduction of anti-corruption studies into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions, we will have a society that is free and free indeed from corruption. If you doubt it, ask the Norwegians of Norway. If you doubt it, ask the Singaporeans of Singapore, the New Zealanders of New Zealand. You ask the Swedish of Sweden, you ask the Finns of Finland, you ask the Danish of Denmark. They have not recognized that incorporating anti-corruption into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions is something that is worthy and worthy indeed. As I conclude, because conclude I must, anti-corruption should and must be incorporated into the curricula of secondary and higher educational institutions. If we do, we will have a senior child said, where are the young soldiers that will grow when the old banana dies? We will have them of ethical values, of transparency, fostering ethical decision making. It can be done, it's